We're going to get started. Today's going to be an interesting webinar where I'm going to go through a few factual things that I've used that have been successful. I'm going to talk about some of the other agencies I work with and the way they use virtual webinars. And then I'm going to kind of freelance a little bit and just try to give you some thoughts on things you can do with these virtual meetings to get more clients. And maybe I can put a few ideas in your head or give you half an idea that you can take to the next level. That's what I'm hoping for today. So what we're going to go through first is we're going to talk about how, how agencies use virtual meetings, and there's definitely two ways. We're going to talk about some of the technology that's out there that you can use. Some of it's free, some of it you have to pay for, and then, like I said, I'm going to throw out a few ideas that maybe can be of use for your agency. So, right off the bat, if you have never used a virtual meeting before, obviously you're on one right now, but if you've never been in control of one, to me it makes a lot of sense in the insurance industry just because of gas prices alone. I know a lot of you are in, working regional type markets where it can be a 2 or 3 hour drive in some situations. I do have a few clients that really use virtual meetings on a daily, hourly basis. One agency is really a large full-service agency, and anytime somebody calls up and wants to, submit a claim on a homeowner's or car accident or wants to buy individual medical, they send them right to this one department where they have they're pretty much 3 young employees, and those employees will do a virtual meeting with the consumer if they want to, where they'll take them to their website and actually file the claim online. Or they'll take them right to the individual medical enrollment link for, I believe they use Anthem in the state they're in. They go right in with the client, they share screens, they look at the client screen, and they walk the client through enrolling right online. So, from a customer service standpoint, it makes a lot of sense because there really shouldn't be any more faxing going on. I mean, let's face it. People's handwriting is getting worse and worse and worse with computers because people don't write as much anymore. So if we can eliminate faxing and walk the consumer through going onto our website and typing in things and then being there to help answer questions and watching what they do, that makes a lot of sense from an efficiency standpoint, as well as helping the consumer enroll for a lot of these small products that don't have a high commission. I mean, I think a lot of you agree that you're not going to go drive 2 hours for some individual medical application that's going to pay you, whatever, $20 a month. It doesn't make sense. So that's kind of a little bit of an overview. From a marketing standpoint, it can allow you to increase your reach. I know a lot of you are in big states like California, Texas, Florida, Pennsylvania. By using virtual meetings, you can tap into the whole state. And then more importantly, I think there's a lot of innovation out there that can help you get in front of people, and I'll go through that a little bit at the end. So I think it's important you guys understand with these virtual meetings, there's different types of technology out there, okay? What I use right now is I'm using GoToMeeting, and to be honest, GoToMeeting is probably like an upper echelon type software. It's expensive. I mean, I pay a few $100 a year for it. But on the flip side, there's a lot of bells and whistles. I can do group meetings of up to 1,000 people. And, there's all sorts of bells and whistles that for me, for the way I need it, it's totally worth the, $700 a year I spend. So I think it's important you guys understand that there are all different types of things out there. There's free versions. There's pay versions. If you're looking to use a virtual meeting for just you and one other person, like a one-on-one, you definitely just need one of these free versions. And I'll go through some of the companies I recommend in a few minutes. If you're looking to use virtual meetings to kind of replace going to like a diner and having like 30 people there, if you're looking for groups of people, then you probably need a pay version of software because you're going to want those bells and whistles. One of the things GoToMeeting does is, and I'll show you in a few minutes, I can go in and actually create an email template that makes, and you guys see it every week when I send it out, it just makes it look nice. It makes it look professional. I have my own embedded link in the thing. When people register for the webinars, I can see who registers, after the webinar. Here's an example of a webinar I did last week. And, here's who attended. You'll see there was 28 people attended. It has the person's name, their email address, how long they attended. It shows what their interest was during the webinar. So, I mean, there are a lot of advantages for having, the GoToMeeting that I use. But again, I'm trying to focus on large groups. I'm trying to use it to grow my business. I'm not using it for agency efficiency. So I guess my point is the first thing you have to do is determine how you would want to use this stuff and what's going to work for you, and then you can certainly figure out what works best. If you're looking for the one-on-one, I would suggest this joinme.com, join.me. Go there and use their free version. They definitely have a free version, and then they have a pro version, which has a few more bells and whistles. The pro version comes with a 1-month free trial. I suggest that. I've had a lot of, when I actually sent this invite out to everyone, I had about 20 people immediately come back to me and say, Ken, I've started to use join.me, and it's been really great. So, and I do know a few of my friends actually use it as well. So that is definitely a reputable free thing that's out there, that if you're just looking to help someone fill out an app, you're just looking to help someone fill out a claim, that can be a great service for you. And you can even put a button right on your website where someone can click on it and get to that access point. I think the one thing you always want to look for, though, and this is important. Well, you know what? Let me tell you a story. Yesterday, I had a guy who was trying to sign up for my services, and real nice guy, but for whatever reason, he had a problem. Every time he would sign up, his credit card would get declined. So, I was on the phone with him for 15 minutes, and it was at a point where he was definitely frustrated at me, and I was frustrated at him. So, for whatever reason, I was like, you know what? Let's do a GoToMeeting. So we did a GoToMeeting, and what I did is I let him take control. So I was able to see his computer screen. He then walked me through everything he was doing, and within 1 second, I was able to determine that the guy was using a credit card with an expiration date of 2007. That fixed it. Boom, the guy was signed up. So my point is this. My point is anytime you use these virtual meetings, you want to make sure that people can see your screen and that you can switch it at any time so you can see their screen, because that's really where you can solve customer service issues really quickly. Especially when people, just like I was saying, the guy had credit card information. He didn't want to give me his password. He didn't really want me to see any of that stuff. So it was easy for me to just take a look at his screen where it was all kind of protected, and he didn't have to give me passwords and logins, and I was able to solve the problem. So it's just starting to kind of think about that aspect. I guess to rewind a second, take a deep breath and think about your agency. Are there situations where you have customer service issues that can drag on, that can be 20 or 30 minutes on the phone, whereas maybe you could really solve the problem quickly if you could just do a virtual meeting with somebody, take a look at what they're trying to do, and solve it that way, or walk them through it to the solution. And I think you're going to find, as we go towards a lot more of these online applications, that's just going to happen more. And it's going to be so much easier to just help the person, via phone and walk them through, and you can watch exactly what they're doing. So let me throw a few suggestions to you on what some of my other clients are doing with these virtual meetings. I have one agency. They're out in California, and they're a pretty high-end professional agency. They're probably about 7 or 8 people in the company, and they focus on employee benefits. And really, when they focus on employee benefits, they only work with companies of 20 to like 200 employees. So what they do is every quarter, the first thing they do is when they get a company to obviously put their business through them, they get all of the employees' email addresses, and they say, hey, look, we're not going to bother them, but once a quarter we do webinars where we review all of the voluntary benefits available to them. So my point is they probably have a pool of about, I don't know, 3,000 to 6,000 of these sub-employees that they're managing. 4 times a year, they just send an email out to them saying, hey, look, we're going to review, life insurance, dental insurance, vision, travel insurance, whatever. They probably have 5 or 6 products. And we're going to do a 20-minute webinar that goes through it, and, maybe you need these services. And from what they've told me, every time they do it, they get 13 to 15% of the attendees to enroll in a voluntary benefit. It's simple. They don't have to go visit. And obviously the employees can obviously watch the webinar right from their office. More time served. So that's what one of my clients is doing. I have a few that are doing what I would call out-of-the-box type things. I have one client who really focuses on business liability, really on the commercial side of things, and he offers webinars to people within the community and potential clients. And he kind of offers business building concepts. So I guess he acts as a consultant to some extent and tries to give ideas on how you can grow your business. He doesn't talk about insurance, but this is his door opener to get in front of people. So he has big-time lists of email addresses, and he just, does these webinars on ways to grow your business, gets the people to come on to the webinar. They're 15-minute webinars, and then that becomes a pool of potential business owners who probably need commercial protection and risk management, and that's how that's his lead generation. Of course, I have a lot of guys who do these webinars. They bring in some of their carrier partners for their bigger brand type products they sell, and they'll co-host the webinar, which is easy enough to do. And then send it out to all their clients saying, hey, you currently have, this auto insurance company. We're going to have our rep come on, and just kind of review again the advantages of using them, et cetera, et cetera. Again, it's just a way to get in front of your clients, touch them, and show how professional your organization is. So, guys, my point is that, anything you can do that's perceived as valuable is going to get people to attend these webinars. You're going to get their contact information. It just makes a lot of sense to try to touch your clients as much as possible and as efficiently as possible to help your retention, in my opinion. And all I can tell you is there are other agencies doing this. So you always should keep an eye on your competition. Is everyone doing it? No. I would probably say maybe 5 to 10% of all the insurance and financial agencies out there have really taken to the idea, but I think that it should be on your radar as something to learn. As we all know, the new iPhone 5 came out. I think where we're headed is pretty much kind of video chat everywhere. Video chat on your phones, video chat on your computer. Obviously, with GoToMeeting, you can have one-on-one video as well. If I really wanted to, guys, I could throw my webcam on and be visible to everyone on today's webinar, but I just don't look good enough today to do that, and I'd be embarrassed. But my point is you can do that, and you can use that to your advantage. So it's just concepts to keep in mind and concepts to focus on. So like I said, just to summarize, some of the agencies out there have really started to use this. I think you guys would be foolish to ignore the concept. Am I telling you to be a zealot and run out tomorrow and start using it? No. But you really should check out some of these free versions and try to at least play with them because it just makes sense. Ask yourself, how much time am I wasting driving around? Analyze your day-to-day and try to think if there's things where you're wasting time and that using a free virtual meeting could save you the time, could make things more efficient, and could help you solve your clients' problems. Just like I said with my situation yesterday, I probably would have lost that relationship immediately if I didn't step up and think of you doing a GoToMeeting. There's no reason you couldn't do that yourselves. And again, eventually it's all going to go handheld anyway. So let me answer a few of these questions, and we'll kind of go from there. Ken, what do you suggest using when it comes to these services? Should we use GoToMeeting? Again, as I mentioned before, it really comes down to what you need it for. If you're looking to truly get in front of large groups of people, which means more than 3 or 4, you may want to go with a professional service like GoToMeeting, GoToMyPC. There's a few of them out there. You probably want to use their pro version where you're paying some money. One thing I can say about GoToMeeting is yeah, I pay some money, but I probably do between 75 and 100 webinars a year in front of lots of people, literally hundreds. It's never gone down once when I was doing it. So, it's never embarrassed me or hurt me. I can't say that all those free versions are that dependable. So that's the negative side of things. But I would suggest you just kind of think about how you're going to need it, and then, don't go crazy and buy anything up front. All these things always come with free trials. Learn it, play around with it, sign up for the trial, see how it works, and test it out on a few of your good clients. Anyway,